What's up? Got another skateboard story for you. Today we're going to talk about Mark Gonzales's first board on Vision, his very first pro model. He turned pro in 1985. It's the Face graphic by Andy Takakjian. The 85 model had yellow faces on it. The black model, the black one had blue hair and blue accents. All the other colorways had black where the blue is on this board. Had front and rear wheel wells. You'll notice on the back there, there's not an actual wheel well there. It's just the cutout in the graphic. We'll talk about that in a second. This one was actually skated by Mark in 1986. Check out that grip art. Fucking awesome. Can't even believe I own that one, but fucking crazy. 1986, they dropped the back wheel wells. They modified the graphic to remove that cutout in the graphic for that back well. Still has the front wheel wells. They had it white behind the Vision logo. Face is white. I have seen a couple different colors of the face. I've seen like a pink one and like a gray purplish looking one. But in general, in 86 they were all white face. 1987, I don't have one here to show you, but they actually dropped the front wells on that one, and they added a kick nose and a new concave, so it had a little baby kick nose on it. They also put a copyright 1986 on the back there on the 87. Little story about the copyrights in Vision. Vision did not put copyrights on any of their shit until 1987. That's why the 1987 boards have copyrights, but anything prior doesn't. So the 87 actually says copyright 1986, which is when the graphic was done, but that's not the year of the board. So if you have an OG Gonz that says copyright 1986 there, it's an 87 or an 88 or an 89. We'll talk about that too. So 1987, it's got the kick nose, no wells. They actually modified the graphic and removed the cutouts here where the wheel well is. But back to this one. So this is an 85 graphic, but it doesn't have the back wells. So basically, at the end of 85, early 86, they were still using the 85 screen. So you still got the same screen that they used for front and back wells, just on a board with front wells. So this is really an 86 with an 85 graphic. Then at the end of 86, you would see boards that were actually 87s using this graphic with the cutouts for the front wells, but there would be no wheel wells there. So kind of at the end of when the models were changing, they would just use the existing screens that they had until they updated them. So finally in 87 they did modify it, remove these cutouts, and just filled in that with graphic. They made this model from 85 to 1989. So the 85 has front and back wheel wells. The 86 has front wheel wells. Then you've got the 87, which is a new concave and a kick nose. And then the 88 is pretty much exactly like the 87. And then in 89, they actually came out with a model that had an even bigger kick nose. So it was like a longer nose on it. And that one's sick. I would love to have one of those, just because they're pretty scarce. That was the end of that graphic's life, and I don't think they were selling that great. So you just don't see a whole lot of those 89 kick nose versions. 1992 rolls around. Mark used this graphic again for his ATM Click model. What's interesting about this board is that it's printed upside down. This is actually the nose up here. It says Destroy Hate with the backwards swastika there. I heard a story about this graphic, and I think Mark may have even told me, but skaters were skating this board backwards. Even though, if you pay attention to the top graphic, it would be pretty obvious, but maybe you're confused because you're like, why would they print it upside down? But that's just how Mark wanted it done. They ended up actually updating it anyway. So the story that I was told is there's a second version of this that has a like a deformed looking swastika on it, and instead of destroy hate, it just says nose, or this is the nose or something. And they had to do that just so that skaters knew that that was the nose of the board. So I thought that was kind of funny. I actually hang this board upside down because that doesn't work for me, hanging on the wall. So I hang it upside down. And that's my story about the Mark Gonzales Face.